This is Two Skis Walk Into a R. I'm Ray.
And I'm Brian.
And this is a short vignette on plotting and making your plots look awesome. I have a data frame here from a previous semester, greenhouse data. And so you can click on that and look. We've got control and wind treatments. And basically, I think we're going to use that. We're also going to use seedling number. That's how many seedlings were in a pot. And then we'll also use total biomass.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll use above ground or below ground biomass. Who knows? Okay, so let's talk about histograms first.
I think histograms are useful.
Okay, histograms is a way of looking at the distribution of your data. So it's just hist, and then you choose the column that you would like. So we're going to choose the total biomass column, and I'm going to run that. And there's my histogram of those biomasses. And let's see, I could change the number of breaks. This is really the useful thing potentially. If say I wanted this to be a little bit more lumped up, maybe I could change it to 3 breaks. And then, there we go. If I wanted to make it more granular, change it to 20. And we got all those. So that's cool.
So R will always choose what it deems to be the best number of breaks to visualize your data.
Yep.
But sometimes you don't agree with R, and
Yep.
you want to take a look at more breaks or less breaks.
Right, yeah. I think it did a decent job as its default. Okay, so that's histogram. We'll show you some other stuff that goes along with all these kinds of plots. The next thing you may want would be a scatter plot of continuous data against continuous data.
That would make sense.
Okay, so that is just plot. And there's 2 potentially very confusing ways to enter in the x and y values. One way is y tilde x, and that's the way that we're going to mainly teach you in Ecology Lab, but there's been some other students that have gone through this and they do x comma y. It's super confusing. So y tilde x, and so in this case my y would be greenhouse.df $, let's do total biomass, and let's have our predictor, the x value, be the stem count. So seedling number, where'd that go? Right there. Seedling number. Okay, great. So now we should see a nice scatter plot of those, seedling number versus total biomass.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. We're going to show you the third kind, and then we're going to show you all the neat little things that you can do to make your plots look nicer. So if I wanted to do a categorical variable versus a continuous, or continuous versus categorical, what's the right way to say that?
I would say continuous versus categorical.
Okay, continuous on the y, categorical on the x. Then I would do greenhouse.df $, total bio, and now I want a a categorical predictor, and so in this case that's going to be our treatment. And so if I just run this by itself, R does something that I think is kind of stupid. It just gives you a box plot. It does not show you the raw data. So in this class and for the rest of your life, you should add to that a second line of code called points. And you put the exact same argument in there. So I copied that and pasted it. And now you can see the actual data, the raw data points stacked up in there. So that's very useful.
And so when you're running this code, you will see that you actually have to run the plot function first and overlay the points on top of that. If you just try to run points by itself, you'll end up getting an error because it doesn't know what's going on.
Yep. Okay, so we got all that. There's some nice things that you can do. You can, for instance, give it a title, and the argument that you would add would be main, and main equals, and then in quotes, whatever you want to call this. So this I might call my box. I should give it something better. This is total bio.
Total biomass.
Yep.
Greenhouse experiment.
By treat, or something like that. So if I do that, then boom, we have that. I have to run that second line of code to get my points back. Cool. You can do, I'm going to just really mod this out. We could do EcoLab, and that's the label for the X, so I could just say treatment.
And again, this is a character string, so you always want to use the quotation marks.
Yes, indeed. Biomass grams. Let's see. I could change the range of the y, so I could go from, say I wanted to go from 0 to, say, 3. That's cool. I lost one in parentheses because I was trying to be helpful. What else did we say? Oh, you could change the color of the points. You can also change the color.
And there's a lot of built-in colors in R. You can always look it up on the internet to find the whole host of colors that R will support.
Let's do my favorite. That's my favorite one
Forest
right there.
green.
Yep.
It's a beautiful color.
And what else? What else? You could change the point type. Maybe that's going to come in the other one. So let me run this line of code. Oh my gosh, crazy.
That is a nicer looking graph.
It is a nicer. Look at the labels look nicer. I don't know about the green. That's maybe we could do without the green.
But a properly labeled graph in Ecology Lab and for the rest of your life is very important.
I'll agree with that.
If you look at the old graph that was originally spit out by the program, if we can cycle through and go back, you will see what looks more like gobbledygook to me. There's no title. There's going to be the name of the data frame and then the column that you're going to be using, which is useful for the person who's running the information. But this is not useful for someone who is grading your homework or reading your materials that you're trying to publish.
Right.
So it's really important to have properly labeled graphs.
There. Now I made the points green by putting this color argument in the points function. And then we could also change the these are all open circles, which is an excellent type of plotting point. But you could change it. What is it? PCH?
PCH equals.
If I do 1, I think that's exactly what it is already. If I do, I'm going to have to run this again to overwrite this. So I'm going to run that. And now let's change it to 2. What's 2? Do you know?
2, I think, is solid circle.
No, it's open
bad
triangles.
Guess.
That's fine. And so forth and so on. You can look this up also online just by searching for R plot point types. PCH or something like that. So that's all good. Was there anything else we wanted to say?
I think that looks great to me.
Did you notice that the Y range changed because I did this Y lim? If you were doing a scatter graph like this one, right? It's and I wanted to change the X. I could do X lim equals a little tiny vector. Let's say we wanted to go from 3.5 all the way up to 15, which is a terrible idea, but let's just run it to see. Oh yeah, look at that.
It does exist.
It does exist. So you would obviously wouldn't want to do that. You'd want something more like 8, right? Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that covers it.
Great.